Matityahu, or Matthew, chapter 13. And on that day Yeshua went out of the house and sat by the sea, and large crowds were gathered together to him. So he went into a boat and sat down, and all the crowd stood on the beach. And he spoke to them in parables, saying, See, the sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some indeed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured them. And others fell on the rocky places, where they did not have much soil, and immediately they sprang up, because they had no depth of soil. But when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered. And others fell among the thorns, and the thorns came up and choked them. And others fell on good soil, and yielded a crop, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. And the taught ones came to him and said, Why do you speak to them in parables? And he, answering, said to them, Because it's been given to you to know the secrets of the reign of the heavens, but to them it's not been given. For whoever possesses, to him more shall be given, and he shall have overflowingly. But whoever does not possess even what he does possess shall be taken away from him. Because of this, I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. And in them, the prophecy of Yeshayahu is completely filled, which says, Hearing you shall hear, and by no means understand, and seeing you shall see, but by no means perceive. For the heart of this people has become thickened, and their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they've closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their heart and turn back, and I heal them. And blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly, I say to you that many prophets and righteous ones longed to see what you see and did not see it, and to hear what you hear and did not hear it. You then hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the reign and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is that sown by the wayside. And that sown on the rocky places, this is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy, yet he has no root in himself, but is short-lived, and when pressure or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he stumbles. And that sown among the thorns is he who hears the word, and the worry of this age and the deceit of riches choke the word, and it becomes fruitless. And that sown on the good soil is he who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and yields, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Another parable he put before them, saying, The reign of the heavens has become like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed darnel among the wheat and went away. And when the blade sprouted and bore fruit, then the darnel also appeared. And the servants of the master of the house came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed into your field? From where then does it have the darnel? And he said to them, A man, an enemy, did this. And the servants said to him, Do you wish then that we go gather it up? But he said, "No, lest while you gather up the darnel, you might also uproot the wheat with them. So let them both grow together until the harvest, and at the time of the harvest I shall say to the reapers, first gather the darnel and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my granary." Another parable he put before them, saying, "The reign of the heavens is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which, indeed, is less than all the seeds, but when it's grown, it's greater than the plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the heaven come and dwell in the branches." Another parable he spoke to them, "The reign of the heavens is like leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal until it was all leavened." Yeshua said all this to the crowds in parables, and he did not speak to them without a parable, so that what was spoken by the prophet might be filled, saying, "I shall open my mouth in parables, I shall pour forth what has been hidden from the foundation of the world." Then, having sent the crowds away, Yeshua went into the house, and his taught ones came to him, saying, "Explain to us the parable of the darnel in the field." And he answered, saying to them, "He who's sowing the good seed is the son of Adam, and the field is the world. And the good seed, these are the sons of the rain, but the darnel are the sons of the wicked one. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil, and the harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are the messengers. As the darnel then is gathered and burned in the fire, so it shall be at the end of the age. The son of Adam shall send out his messengers, and they shall gather out of his reign all the stumbling blocks and those doing lawlessness, and shall throw them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous shall shine forth as the sun in the reign of their Father. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Again, the reign of the heavens is like a treasure hidden in a field, which a man having found it, hid, and for joy over it he goes and sells all that he has and buys the field. Again, the reign of the heavens is like a man, a merchant, seeking fine pearls, who, when he found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the reign of the heavens is like a dragnet that was thrown into the sea and gathered some of every kind, which, when it was filled, they drew to shore. And they sat down and gathered the good into containers, but threw the rotten away. Thus it shall be at the end of the age. The messengers shall come forth and separate the wicked out of the midst of the righteous, and shall throw them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yeshua said to them, "Have you understood all this?" They said to him, "Yes, Master." And he said to them, "Therefore every scholar taught in the reign of heaven is like a householder who brings out of his treasure matters renewed and old." And it came to be, when Yeshua had ended these parables, that he left there. And when he had come to his own country, he taught them in their congregations, so that they were astonished and said, "Where did this one get this wisdom and miracles? Is this not the son of the carpenter? Is not his mother called Miriam, and his brothers Yaakov and Yosef and Shimon and Yehuda? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Where then did this one get all this?" And they stumbled at him. But Yeshua said to them, "A prophet is not appreciated except in his own country and in his own house." And he did not do many miracles there because of their unbelief. Lucas or Luke chapter 8. And it came to be afterward that he went through every city and village, proclaiming and bringing the good news of the reign of Elohim, and the 12 were with him. And certain women who were healed of wicked spirits and sickness, Miriam, called from Magdala, out of whom had come 7 demons, and Johanna, the wife of Chuza, manager of Herodes, and Shoshana, and many others who provided for him from the resources. And when a large crowd had gathered, and those who were coming to him from every city, he spoke by a parable. A sower went out to sow seed, and as he sowed, some indeed fell by the wayside, and it was trodden down, and the birds of heaven devoured it. And other fell on a rock, but when it grew up, it withered because it had no moisture. And other fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up with it and choked it. And other fell on the good soil and grew up and yielded a crop 100-fold. Having said this, he cried, "He who has ears to hear, let him hear." And his taught ones were asking him, "What does this parable mean?" And he said, "To you it has been given to know the secrets of the reign of Elohim, but to the rest in parables that seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not understand." And this is the parable. The seed is the word of Elohim, and those by the wayside are the ones who hear. Then the devil comes and takes away the word from their hearts, lest having believed they should be saved. And those on the rock are those who, when they hear, receive the word with joy, and these have no root, who believe for a while, and in a time of trial fall away. And that which fell among the thorns are those who, when they've heard, go out and are choked with worries and riches and pleasures of life, and bring no fruit to perfection. And that on the good soil are those who, having heard the word with a noble and good heart, retain it and bear fruit with endurance. And no one, having lit a lamp, covers it with a vessel or puts it under a bed, but he puts it on a lampstand, so that those coming in see the light. For whatever is hidden shall be revealed, and whatever is secret shall be known and come to light. Therefore take heed how you hear, for whoever possesses, to him more shall be given, and whoever does not possess even what he thinks he possesses shall be taken from him. And his mother and brothers came to him and were unable to get to him because of the crowd. And it was reported to him, saying, "Your mother and your brothers are standing outside wishing to see you." And he answered, saying to them, "My mother and my brothers are those who are hearing the word of Elohim and doing it." And on a certain day it came to be that he entered into a boat with his taught ones, and he said to them, "Let us go over to the other side of the lake." And they set out, and as they were sailing, he fell asleep, and a windstorm came down on the lake, and they were filling up, and they were in danger. And they came to him and woke him up, saying, "Master, Master, we're perishing." And he awoke and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water. And they ceased, and there came a calm. And he said to them, "Where is your belief?" And they were afraid and marveled, saying to one another, "Who is this that he even commands the winds and the water so that they obey him?" And they sailed to the country of Gadarenes, which is opposite the Galilee. And as he went out onto land, he was met by a certain man from the city who had demons for a long time, and he wore no garments, and he was not living in a house but in the tombs. And when he saw Yeshua, he cried out and fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, "What have I to do with you, Yeshua, Son of the Most High Elohim? I beg you, do not torture me." For he had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man, for it had seized him many times, and he was bound with chains and shackles, being guarded. And breaking the bonds, he was driven by the demon into the lonely places. And Yeshua asked him, saying, "What is your name?" And he said, Legion, because many, many demons had entered into him, and they were begging him that he would not command them to go out into the bottomless pit. And a herd of many pigs was feeding right there on the mountain, and they begged him to allow them to go into the pigs, and he allowed them. And the demons, having gone out of the man, entered into the pigs, and the herd rushed down the steep place into the lake and drowned. And when those feeding them saw what had taken place, they fled and reported it in the city and in the country. So they came out to see what had taken place and came to Yeshua and found the man from whom the demons had gone out sitting at the feet of Yeshua, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And those who had seen it reported to them how he who had been possessed by demons was healed, and all the crowd of the neighborhood of the Gadarenes asked him to leave, for they were seized with great fear. And he entered into the boat and returned. And the man from whom the demons had gone out was begging him to be with him. But Yeshua sent him away, saying, Go back to your house and relate what Elohim has done for you. And he went away proclaiming through all the city what Yeshua did for him. And it came to be, when Yeshua returned, that the crowd gladly received him, for they were all looking for him. And see, there was a man whose name was Yair, and he was a ruler of the congregation. And falling down at the feet of Yeshua, he was calling upon him to come to his house, because he had an only daughter about 12 years of age, and she was dying. And as he went, the crowds thronged upon him. And a woman, having a flow of blood for 12 years, who having spent all her livelihood on physicians, was unable to be healed by any, came from behind and touched the tzitzit of his garment. And immediately her flow of blood stopped. And Yeshua said, Who touched me? And when all denied it, Kepha and those with him said, Master, the crowds throng with you and press upon you, and you say, Who touched me? But Yeshua said, Somebody did touch me, for I knew power went out from me. And the woman, seeing that she was not hidden, came trembling and falling down before him. She declared to him in the presence of all the people why she touched him and how she was healed immediately. Then he said to her, Take courage, daughter, your belief has healed you. Go in peace. While he was still speaking, someone came from the ruler of the congregation's house, saying to him, Your daughter's dead. Do not trouble the teacher any further. And Yeshua, having heard, answered him, saying, Do not be afraid, only believe, and she shall be healed. And coming into the house, he allowed no one to go in except Kepha and Yaakov and Yohanan and the girl's father and mother. And they were all weeping and mourning for her, and he said, Do not weep, she's not dead, she's only sleeping. And they were laughing at him, knowing that she was dead. But taking her by the hand, he called, saying, Child, arise. And her spirit returned, and she rose up immediately. And he directed that she be given food to eat. And her parents were astonished. But he ordered them to say to no one what had taken place.